welcome back to my desk. I am here tonight for an update regarding book 13. So, if you watched the last video, you will know that book 13 was intended to be Dance of Thieves by Mary E Pearson. But there's been a change of plans. So I read the first couple chapters of this book, and it was a struggle. And if you watched the last book review, you know that that book wasn't a great experience either, book 12. But this one, I got a couple chapters in, and what I discovered was this book takes place in an already established world by this author. She wrote a previous series called The Remnant Chronicles, and the characters in this book come from that series in that world. So right away I found there were a lot of terms in this book that I was unfamiliar with and that weren't being explained. So a lot of terminology, a lot of creatures, weapons, lore, things like that, that aren't being explained because it seems like this book was written for people who had already read the previous series, even though this is the beginning of a new story in that world. I did a little research, and a lot of the characters in this book already have established histories in the previous one, and it seems the general recommendation was to read the other series, The Remnant Chronicles, before picking this up. There were reviews from people who had read this, and they seemed to have a similar experience that I did, where it seemed like you were missing something. And I struggled with that, and I also struggled with just the writing style in general. It wasn't resonating with me. So instead of sinking probably 2 weeks at least into this book, if not longer, because I think it was going to be a struggle for me to stay invested in, even if I had found it interesting just because of the feeling that I was missing something. So I decided I'm not going to read this book. I am instead just going to pass it on to somebody else who I think, I hope will get more enjoyment out of it. Maybe someone who's already read the other series and is looking to pick this one up. I don't know. So yeah, I'll either donate it or give it away, because I'm just not interested in reading another whole series just so I can read this book. Even though it did kind of seem interesting from the back panel, it's just, it requires too much back work before I can enjoy this. So if you have read The Remnant Chronicles, then you could pick this up, and I think you'd be in a much better starting place. But if you haven't, I would say listen to the other reviews and probably start there before you reach for this one. So instead of this, what I did this week, I was at a local bookstore for a class that I'm taking, and they had a donation an older lady came in and donated a bunch of Agatha Christie books. And I picked up 5. They're right here. So instead of doing Dance of Thieves, book 13 is going to be Easy to Kill by Agatha Christie. And I thought what I would do, since these books are pretty small, I thought that I would read these 4. So, Easy to Kill, which I'm halfway through. And they came to Baghdad, and an overdose of death, and appointment with death. And then we can do books 13, 14, 15, and 16 all in one video, because they're pretty short, and that way I can compare and contrast these different books. 2 of them are Hercule Poirot mysteries. If you're familiar with those, then they will be 2 of those, and then just 2 other independent books. A little backstory is when I was in high school, I stumbled on Hercule Poirot movie, and I kind of became obsessed and rented them all through my local library and watched them. So when I saw the books, I picked them up. I actually have another Hercule Poirot mystery, Halloween Party, that I picked up a couple of weeks ago at the same bookstore. I just happened upon it and I was like, I have to get this. But I think I'm going to save it maybe for October. So that will have like kind of an on-theme book, at least one in October. We'll see. The other book that I picked up is Murder on the Orient Express. This one I'm going to do on its own when I read it, because it's kind of famous and I'm really interested to read the book. I've seen a lot of movie versions of this book, so it'll be interesting to read how the story compares to the book. This is also an Hercule Poirot, so that one will be coming at a later date, and you can look forward to those other ones in my next 100 series book review. So that is the update on where we're standing with the 100 books. And in the meantime, I'm gonna throw up a video of previous reads, because in my last 100 books video for I Know Where She Is, at the end I advised, if you were looking for a thriller within the 100 books, to check out the previous one that I had read, but those aren't really a one-to-one comparison. So I went to my shelf and I pulled out one that I think is very comparable in plot and theme, and is a much better read. So you'll see that coming, and very soon. And another thriller that I would highly recommend has nothing to do with either of the other 2, but it's just one that I read last year that was great. So I wanted to throw that out there for anyone who might be looking for a good thriller. And that's where I'm going to end this video, just a short update, and then you'll see those